Neon from Miller's Diner stuttered against Highway 180, throwing pale yellow over empty asphalt and a pair of paper cones sweating cherry soda. In the back row of the lot, a beat-up Honda sat in shadow. By morning, the keys would still be in the ignition, a purse with $23 upright on the passenger seat, and the chain-link fence behind it nicked open toward the cotton. October 17, 1979, Sanger, California, until DNA finally broke the silence and gave investigators a name to chase. Block 1. Route and Final Scene. Route and Clock, 2 tracks. At 9:47 p.m., 17-year-old Elena Mae Davila leaves her shift at the pharmacy and walks 2 doors down to Miller's Diner on Highway 180. In a corner booth, Sarah Delgado waits with a cherry Coke and college brochures Elena has been hiding at home. They talk longer than usual. At 10:23 p.m., they part in the lot. Sarah pulls out toward town, and Elena crosses the gravel to her Honda parked near the employee entrance. Curfew at her house is 11 p.m. She never arrives. At first light, a patrol unit finds the car sitting where Sarah last saw it. Lot tableau. The Honda is angled square in the space. Driver's door shut but not fully latched. Keys hang from the column. On the passenger seat, a brown purse holds ID and $23. Under it, a folded letter from a university sits soft with rereading. In the gravel near the rear wheel, brief scuffing, heel to toes that begin, turn, and stop. Behind the stall, the chain-link fence is torn low at one panel, wires curled back toward a tilled cotton field. There is no glass, no pry on the door, no glove box rummage. Found not found. Scene density. Found, physical. Keys in ignition. Purse upright with ID and cash. A torn fence opening directly behind the stall. Short scuff pattern in gravel by the rear quarter. Found, context. Closing time at 9:47 p.m. 10:23 parting in the lot. A folded acceptance letter under the purse. Diner checks that bracket the window. Not found. Skid gouge. Broken vegetation on the stall side. A drag path across gravel. A theft signature, or any hood-up posture hinting at mechanical trouble. Witness pulse. The night manager remembers the girls and the flicker over their booth. A long-haul driver recalls a teenager crossing to a small car just after 10:20. A friend mentions recent arguments between Elena and her boyfriend about college plans. Nothing heated that night inside the diner, but the social circle tension is noted for later analysis. No one reports a curbside pickup or raised voices in the lot. The first twist: ordinary versus facts. 3 easy stories fall apart in the first pass. Car trouble? Then the hood goes up, hazards go on, keys come out, jacket on. Quick theft? Then the purse empties or vanishes and the column shows damage. Voluntary cool-off? Then cash and ID do not sit visible on the seat, and the door doesn't hang half-latched. Instead, we get a quiet, deliberate pause. Keys left, purse intact, fence torn directly behind the stall. The scene reads near car intercept, through fence transfer. Not a stroll, not a rummage. Surface, illumination, environment. Lot surface is asphalt with a thin gravel throw near the back row. Behind it, freshly tilled cotton muffles footfall. Illumination, 3 sodium fixtures over the first 2 lanes. The back row is shadow except for the diner's neon spill. Wind is light. Visibility holds to about 25 to 40 meters behind the stalls. A moving figure past the fence line disappears fast. Immediate response. Deputies lock the scene, photograph the cabin in situ, and cast the scuff area. A dog team starts at the driver's door, tracks through the fence tear, crosses about 50 yards of tilled dirt, and loses at Highway 180. Abrupt rather than fading, typical of transfer to a vehicle. The perimeter expands to shoulders east and west. Nothing obvious anchors a linger or a crash. Working window. Minutes, not hours. Last confirmed presence in the booth at 10:20 to 10:23 p.m. A reasonable on-scene dwell to open the car, set the purse, and decide is about 2 to 4 minutes. Intercept and through fence movement fit 10:24 to 10:29 without drawing eyes in the thinning lot. The curfew at 11 expands family alarm, but the actionable opportunity remains a 5-minute band between the booth light and the fence shadow. Neon buzz over a brown purse and a letter about leaving, while the keys wait for a hand that never turns them. Cones, casts, and log sheets in sodium light. At a kitchen table, a mother smooths the corner of a college letter and stares at the clock that should already say home. Block 2. Assumptions versus evidence. Accident in the lot. Slip impact. What we would expect. Skid or gouge where tires bite. Glass or trim scatter. A drag scar across gravel. A cry heard inside the diner. What we have, no skid, no gouge, no glass, and only a short scuff pattern by the rear quarter that begins, turns, and ends. More checked her footing than fell or fought. Accident logic fails at the surface read. Mechanical trouble. What we would expect. Hood up, hazards, door cleanly latched while she fetches help. Keys pocketed, purse and ID taken. What we have, door not fully latched, keys left, purse with cash and license on the seat, and no hood-up posture. A careful teen does not leave identity and money visible to go seek a wrench. Quick theft car prowl. What we would expect. Popped lock, rummaged glove box, column damage or broken wing vent, cash removed, ID stripped, door slammed. What we have, no pry marks, no rummage. $23 plus ID intact in a tidy purse. A thief who ignores both motive and method isn't our driver. Voluntary cool-off, walk-off. What we would expect. Secure the car. Take purse/ID. Latch the door. Walk to the lit sidewalk. If a friend offers a lift, she locks up. What we have. Purse stays. Keys stay. Door half latched. And a torn fence directly behind the stall leading into tilled cotton. Not a route a teen chooses for a calm walk. Voluntary options lose weight. Consensual ride with a known person. What we would expect. A witness to a curbside conversation. A brief wave. Seat movement. Maybe a window down exchange. A clear exit path toward the lane, not through fence wire. What we have. No "we left together" witness. The cabin remains orderly, and the dog line breaks at Highway 180 after moving through the fence tear. A footprint that reads handoff away from eyes. Not a friendly pickup at the curb. Romantic jealousy social pressure angle. Tested, not proven. What we would expect. Tense exchanges near the lot. Messages or calls clustering around 10:20 to 10:30 p.m. A meeting point a few stalls from Neon, not through a fence into dark field rows. What we have. Friends report recent arguments about college plans. Under the purse lies a folded university letter. Context for tension, not evidence of a meeting that night. With no witness to an argument, no call time anchor, and a field route that hides movement, jealousy remains a hypothesis, useful for interviews, weak for scene fit. Female rival co-conspirator, secondary lens. What we would expect. A short lure or errand, come see this. A quiet transfer away from cameras, coordination with a driver waiting off lot. Traces at hand use points, door, purse strap, that aren't Elena's. What we have. A through fence path that suits quiet coordination, but no direct trace yet. The torn panel helps the planned handoff model. Without time-stamped contact, it stays considered, not concluded. Staged runaway, college escape. What we would expect. Purse gone, cash ID taken, car locked, a bag in the trunk, a goodbye note. The acceptance letter carried, not hidden under a purse. What we have. Cash plus ID left, door half latched, letter tucked under the purse, curfew looming at 11 o'clock. Staging to vanish doesn't leave the very tools of vanishing behind. Third-party intercept, arrow, fence line arrow, highway transfer, best fit. What we would expect. Brief contact in the shadowed back row, movement through the fence tear, a short crossing over muffling soil, and a handoff to a waiting vehicle along Highway 180, all inside about 5 minutes. What we have. Scuff start, turn stop by the rear quarter, keys purse left to mute theft, fence torn behind the stall, dog track 50 yards into the cotton, and abrupt loss at the highway. Present absent logic stacks here. False lead, decisive fact, the twist. The intuitive pick is car trouble or a friendly ride. The decisive fact is the exit vector, not toward the lane, but through a cut fence into a dark field, ending at a highway break. That path collapses both mechanical and consensual curb pickup, and tightens the read to a quiet, directed transfer. Era scene limits 1979. No lot CCTV, no plate readers, payphones and house clocks that drift 2 to 3 minutes, and dog scent that fails fast on tilled soil. Those limits widen ambiguity. They do not conjure pry marks, hood-up posture, or a friendly wave where none exists. Provisional read present absent. Accident not supported, no impact signatures. Mechanical not supported, no repair stance, valuables left. Theft prowl not supported, no entry, cash ID intact. Voluntary consensual ride, weak, fence route contradicts. Jealousy rival as motor, possible context, no scene anchor. Third-party intercept, fence, highway 180 transfer, best fit to scene and clock. Working window, minutes, not hours. 10:23 p.m. parting in the booth. 10:24 to 10:29 for key turn, purse placement, contact, through fence move, and highway handoff. Scenarios needing long prep or a noisy curb exchange do not fit that 5-minute band. A torn square of chain link breathing toward the cotton while a college letter waits under a quiet purse. Matrices cross off what should be here and isn't. In a bedroom, a suitcase stays under the bed, and a curfew clock ticks past 11 without a door. Block 3. Witnesses and contradictions. Booth to back row, the last clean sighting. The night manager places Elena Mae Davila and Sarah Delgado in the corner booth under the flickering tube until about 10:20 to 10:23 p.m. Sarah pulls out toward town. Elena walks alone across the gravel to the back row Honda. No raised voices in the dining room. No curbside argument at the door. Backlot fringe. Light, then shadow. A long-haul driver easing past the windows notes a teen crossing to a small car just after 10:20. A server on break remembers the dome light blink once in the back row and go dark again. No slam, no horn, just a pause, and the neon buzz reclaiming the lot. Both observations live inside the 5-minute corridor we care about. Fence line. Sound versus direction. From the house that backs the cotton field, a farm dog barks twice and quits around 10:27 to 10:29, followed by the brief rattle of chain link. Wind is low. Footsteps on tilled soil don't carry the way gravel does. The neighbor can't place a voice, a car model, or a color. Only short sound, then silence from the fence direction. Highway 180, edges and minutes. A delivery driver rolling east reports seeing a shoulder door pull open and shut beyond the field about 10:30. Then taillights merge into traffic. His dash clock later proves a couple of minutes fast. Even corrected, the timing fits immediately after the fence line noises. No plates, no make, just the rhythm. Open, shut, gone. Phone receipt noise. Soft anchors. A clerk at the 24-hour market near the junction thinks a young man in a letter jacket asked for payphone change around 10:20 something. Register tape marks 10:31 p.m., but their wall clock drifts and the drawer closed late. Useful as an interview vector, weak as a time pin. A coworker mentions recent arguments between Elena and her boyfriend over college plans. Again, context rather than proof. No witness puts him in the lot at the minute that matters. The torn panel. What it does and doesn't say. Behind the Honda's stall, the chain link is cut low and curled toward the field. No one saw wire cutters. No one saw a figure duck through. What the geometry does give us is a vector that avoids the lane and cameras, straight to soft ground and then to Highway 180, a route that fits a handoff away from eyes, not a friendly pickup at the curb. Cabin arrangement versus ordinary narratives. If Elena took a consensual ride, purse and ID wouldn't sit visible on the seat. If this were a mechanical pause, hood up, hazards keys in pocket would announce it. If this were theft, rummage would speak for itself. What remains is a composed cabin, purse upright, acceptance letter folded under it, a half-latched door, and a through-fence exit, details that cooperate with one another and not with the easy stories. Contradictions that matter. Car trouble requires hood-up procedure. We have none, and the path goes through the fence, not to the sidewalk. Theft requires motive and mess. We have cash plus ID intact and a tidy interior. Consensual ride wants witnesses. The lot gives silence and a field route. Jealousy explains tension but lacks a minute-stamped meat. Context, not anchor. Unified timeline. Minutes, not hours. Around 10:20 to 10:23, The goodbye at the booth. Elena steps toward the back row. About 10:24 to 10:26. A dome light flickers. The left door isn't fully latched. Her purse and a folded letter are positioned inside. Around 10:27 to 10:29. A dog barks twice, followed by a rattle at the chain-link fence near the cotton field. Closer to 10:29 to 10:31. At the highway edge, a car door opens and then shuts. Taillights merge into traffic. The dash clock is running 2 to 3 minutes fast. By first light, patrol finds the Honda exactly where it had sat all night. The overlap compresses into a narrow 5-minute band in which contact, a fence crossing, and a vehicle handoff can all occur, without leaving a loud or obvious trace. Working window, minutes, not hours. Operationally, the intercept lives 10:24 to 10:29, with 2 to 3 minutes of analog drift tolerated for witness clocks. Any scenario needing long prep in the back row or a curbside exchange in view doesn't fit. A fence square breathing toward the field while a dome light dies and the road takes a pair of taillights like it's nothing. Statements get typed and clocks reconciled. At a kitchen table, a mother slides the acceptance letter back into its envelope and doesn't say out loud what the minutes already told her. Block 4. Technicals and breakthrough. Reopen kit, clean protocol. Items are unsealed one by one under a hood. Driver's door pull and column bezel, ignition key shank, purse strap hardware and liner seam, the folded acceptance letter, documented only, handled with sleeves, fence wire cut edges from the torn panel, wire sections retained, and soil casts lifted from the short scuff pattern by the rear quarter. Fresh gloves per item, forceps swapped between lifts, bench and tool pre-post swabs logged. Reagent blanks ride every batch. Eliminations first. Family, Sarah Delgado, diner staff on late shift, the patrol unit that found the car, and tow personnel. Low template recovery, where it stalled. qPCR returns sub-nanogram yields on touch swabs. Mini STR from the door pull and purse strap produces mixed, stutter-prone partials, insufficient for a database entry and not probative alone. Archival latents produce a fatty palm smear on the column bezel that in 1979 was non-value. Modern VMD, vacuum metal deposition, resolves ridge flow consistent with an adult male palm placement at steering reach. Controls remain clean. The classic playbook stalls for power, not process. Microtrace, the non-DNA turn. Fence wire cut edges, tool marks, and residues. Comparison scope shows pinch shear striation consistent with small bolt cutters. SEMEDS flags, zinc-rich galvanic flake, chain link coating, plus a thin red enamel microchip embedded at the shear. Class traits suggesting contact with a painted tool or bumper edge, not proof of source. Purse strap hardware liner seam, fibers. PLM-SEM finds trilobal polyester microfibers with acrylic binder dust, typical of an insulated work jacket liner, not denim. Door pull key shank, residues. GC-MS notes diesel range hydrocarbons, C10 to C20, blended with light lithium soap grease. Shopyard handling, not restaurant surface film. Scuff soil cast, plant particulate. Micro-lint and field cotton fragments with tilled soil fines match the through fence corridor better than the asphalt apron. Individually, these are class characteristics. Together, they pull the scene away from a lone teen and toward hands that live around tools, paint, and yard equipment. Low input S&P library, the breakthrough. The lab composites the 2 highest yield extracts, driver's door pull plus purse strap hardware, and builds a low input S&P library. Fragment distribution centers around 120 to 150 base pairs. Post-QC call rate lands around 94 to 96%. Mixture assessment supports a single source mail distinct from all eliminations. Bench blanks and reagent controls are negative. STR couldn't stand. S&Ps succeed. We now have a foreign touch DNA profile tied directly to inter-operate control points and the handoff surface. Female angle guardrail. How we treat it here. If jealousy or a co-conspirator lured Elena off camera, we would expect non-owner trace on lured handle surfaces, door, purse strap, and tool signatures at the fence. The lab findings fit possible coordination, but they name no sex. Interpretation stays behavioral, not diagnostic. FGG guardrails, lead, not proof. Uploads are limited to opt-in law enforcement portals. GEDmatch Pro, FTD, NALE. An audit packet travels with hashes, timestamps, case type, and named access roles. No non-consenting repositories. Every view export is logged. Output is treated strictly as an investigative lead, never probable cause. Tree build and minutes filter. Cousin matches in the 2C to 3C band converge on a Central Valley lineage with late 70s anchors near Sanger, Fresno County. Public records scaffold the MRCA. Age-sex gates narrow to males mid-20s to mid-40s in 1979. A minutes-based geography filter trims further. Documented after-hours presence along Highway 180 in the 10:24 to 10:31 p.m. band. Routine access to yard work tools, bolt cutters, service coats, or ag transport rolls that reasonably explain diesel grease on hand-use points and cotton field particulate on shoe or vehicle interiors. Shortlist, less than or equal to 3. After pruning out-of-region and wrong-age branches, pedigree plus microtrace plus minute gates yield a shortlist of 2 to 3 men who naturally bridge back row lot, fence tear, Highway 180 inside 5 minutes. For example, a light utility subcontractor, a yard hauler night runner, or an ag supply driver staging along the corridor. Each entry is tabled with MRCA link, 1979 employer route, why the 1024 to 1031 band fits, and what records can probe it: work orders, fuel slips, gate logs. Cross-checks against innocent transfer. The foreign S&P profile repeats across independent lifts, door pull and purse strap, not a one-surface fluke. All eliminations are negative. Chain of custody shows continuous seals on cabin swabs, fence sections, and soil casts. The tool mark fence shear, diesel grease on hand-use points, and field cotton fragments concentrate on the vector Elena did not choose, through the fence and out to the highway. Hard to square with casual counter contact or a friendly curbside ride. Deliverable and confirmation plan. Pedigree tree with MRCA path and match notes. Short list, less than or equal to 3, with time distance rationale and role access. Audit packet, hashes, consent, access log. Confirmation plan, quiet surveillance, lawful discard collection, STR comparison to the foreign profile, and, if probative, a court-authorized confirmatory buckle, FGG points. The discard STR buckle proves. Working window, application. Prioritize candidates who can be in the back row shadow at 1024 to 1026, pass through the fence within 1 to 2 minutes, and make the Highway 180 door open shut beat by 1029 to 1031. Anyone who cannot clear those minute gates falls off. A red enamel fleck on gray wire and cotton lint in a soil cast. 2 small arrows that disagree with the sidewalk and point to the field. A digital tree fills with boxes and lines. At a kitchen table, a college letter lies under a palm that won't smooth its corner anymore. Block 5. Resolution and arrest. Lead classic workflow. Forensic genealogy stays a lead, not proof. Investigators pivot to confirmation. Quiet surveillance on the shortlist from Block 4. Men with after-hours access to tools and trucks who could bridge back row lot. Fence tear. Highway 180 inside, about 5 minutes. A lawful discard is collected when the subject finishes a coffee at a roadside stand, dropping a paper cup into an outdoor bin. The lab develops an STR profile from that cup and compares it to the foreign touch DNA recovered independently from the driver's door pull and the purse strap hardware. The comparison supports common source. With counsel review, a court-authorized confirmatory buckle swab follows. The second test reproduces the profile without mixture flags. Match statistics, plain language. The confirmatory STR report gives RMP less than 1 times 10 to the power of 12 and LR greater than 10 to the power of 9 in favor of the same individual as the foreign contributor. Bench negatives and reagent blanks are clean. All eliminations, family, Sarah Delgado, diner staff on late shift, first arriving patrol, tow personnel, remain non-matching. Chain of custody for cabin swabs, fence sections, and soil casts is continuous. Corroboration, Access, opportunity, route logic. Work records place the subject on Highway 180 corridors with routine evening movements and ready access to yard tools consistent with the fence shear signature. Class traits line up with his environment: diesel range hydrocarbons and light lithium soap grease on hand use points. Trilobal polyester microfibers typical of an insulated work jacket liner on the purse strap lift. Field cotton fragments in the scuff soil cast along the exit vector he could service. Witness slices align with minute math. Dome light blink in the back row about 1024 to 1026. Chain link rattle about 1027 to 1029. And a door open, shut at the highway edge about 1029 to 1031. The minutes say he could be there. The microtrace says he belonged to that world. The DNA says he touched the control points. The twist. Familiar, not foreign. He was not a ghost from the road. He was the ag supply driver locals were used to seeing near the cotton rows. The man who hauled late and knew which lights went out first. Familiar enough that a quiet figure beyond a torn fence did not read as a stranger. Any suggestion of a lure or jealous go-between remains behavioral hypothesis, not charge. What carries weight is minute windows, trace, and identification. Arrest. Time, place, coherence. At 13:20, officers contact the subject in a co-op scalehouse lot off Highway 180 as he steps from his truck with a clipboard. Midday timing avoids a residential scene, matches his routine, and supports the warrant plan. Vehicle and outer garments are in plain view, with any interior search held under separate authority. He looks at the uniforms for a beat, and for the first time he does not read as the route man. He reads like a stranger. The arrest is without incident. Charging framework. 3 pillars. Identification. STR match from lawful discard, replicated by court-authorized buccal. Reported with conservative statistics. Access and opportunity. Documented evening presence on Highway 180 inside the about 1024 to 1031 band, with plausible 1 to 3 minutes of back row dwell and a clear path to the highway edge. Corroboration. Scene logic. No accident or theft signatures. Tool-compatible fence shear. Residues and fibers on door and strap consistent with yard work and field adjacency. Negative eliminations. Continuous custody. FGG is cited only as an investigative lead. Proof comes from the discard, STR, buccal sequence. Technical closeout. What was tested? Why sufficient? Tested. Driver's door pull and purse strap hardware as primary touch DNA. Column bezel as contextual latent. Fence wire cut edges for tool marks. Soil casts for plant and particulate, plus discard cup and confirmatory buccal. qPCR guided low input handling. STR confirmation met reporting thresholds. Mixture assessment indicated a single source male. Controls were negative. Sufficiency rests on independent replication, the minute scale time distance fit, and non-overlapping controls that close off innocent transfer and bench carryover. A paper cup cooling on sun-hot concrete while a match report ticks from a printer. Warrants, seals, signatures. At a kitchen table, a mother folds the college letter once more and sets it back exactly where her daughter left it.